There is some good news, and there is some bad news. The good news is that this will be the last flashback involving the bar patrons. The bad news is that it is currently bugged. Now, Devon 7 is the final flashback involving the bar patrons, and he originally arrives here on his own, and if I had spoken to him earlier, there would be no issues. The problem is now that Dirty 97 has arrived, after completing the flashback, for some reason, Devon 7 will not chat with us, so we are unable to conclude things. Now this is actually a bug, and I have spoken to Nido King, who has confirmed that this is something he has not seen before. So what I am going to do, I am going to play through this as it is right now, but at the end I will need to load up an old save file, where Dirty 97 has not appeared yet, complete the flashback, and then replay through the game up until this point. So unfortunately, after this flashback we will lose some continuity, but we are at the end game, so it's not really going to be that important. So anyway, let's continue on.
Seraphins usually look sad and haunted, but this one's got that look down pat. Hi, my name's Alias Node. How are you?
Bored as usual. If you really care, my appellation is 1397.
Nice to meet you, pal.
After playing 2 games, I understood the physics of the playing field down to a molecular level, and the outcomes no longer hold any mystery to me. I know volumes about that subject, but the thought of relating all of that information overcomes me with ennui. Even if I were inclined to follow orders from a human, that action is too tedious to even contemplate. I am willing to talk to you until I get too bored to continue.
How considerate.
You seem even more jaded than most Seraphins I've met.
I cannot deny it. I have done it all. Daredevil sports, month-long orgies, gambling on everything from the exact time of a supernova to the Brownian motion of individual molecules. Now, I have little interest in anything besides achieving mind-altering states.
I had a Brownian motion earlier.
Your employer must be pretty wealthy and important.
Yes, he is quite a deal maker. Of course, even though he prefers stakes on a planetary scale, he will wager about almost anything, anytime, no matter how small.
I heard that there was a big break-in today at the corporate headquarters of Amalgamated Vacuum. Did you hear anything about that?
I'm not very interested in local news. I have now become too bored to continue.
Hang on. I was the one who exited the conversation.
He looks rich, bored, and arrogant. In other words, a typical Seraphin. Hi, my name's Alias Node. How are you?
Hello, Alias. I am Devon 7 of Hypoctal. I suppose I'm well. I should be. I pay 80 megazocs a year for my medical care. I just have a brief layover at this spaceport. I'm on my way to inspect Armpit 3. I purchased it last week, and I want to make sure it's in good shape before I sign the closing papers. At the university, I minored in the culture of lesser races. We spent the classes devoted to human culture, viewing the films of Jerry Lewis. I calculate that I am the 4,329th being to comment on your resemblance to this icon of slapstick humor.
Poor Elias.
Poor Dirtine, he longs to be an artist, but all his efforts were derided by the critics. He's not the most efficient of assistants, but he is my third maternal left nephew, so it would be difficult for me to dismiss him. Oh, your inquiries are boring me. Please direct them to one of my assistants.
The Seraphins don't seem to like being ordered around.
I would sooner obey a command from my own robo-butler.
What's a filthy rich Seraphin doing in a dump like this?
Perhaps my standards are abnormally high, but every establishment I've been to on this planet appears to be a dump.
So what's a guy like you like to do for fun?
My work is my primary pleasure. I also collect art treasures, and I enjoy a good wager as much as any Seraphin.
So, tell me about your work.
I buy and sell planets, much like this one.
So have you ever bought any planets I've heard of?
Probably. I've been owner or part owner of 783 planets, including 322 inhabited planets. Have you ever heard of Slag 5?
Sure, that planet that was almost pure Vegemite to the core?
That was one of mine.
But wait, Slag 5 was broken up into rubble and sold to a refinery. 6 billion people had to be relocated.
Yes? What's your point?
Nice guy.
I bet the deal you just finished was a biggie, huh?
I've had my eye on Armpit 3 for a long time, but Urk 4 was obstinate about selling her share. Then I received signals from an intermediary that she was finally willing to deal. It was one of the most complex deals I've ever assembled. So many parties.
Now this flashback, if you know what you're doing, can be completed in about 5 minutes. But I am going to take my time and look around.
A family of artisans on Bulbous 3 spent 4 generations crafting this set. I was able to purchase it with about 2 hours of my wages. This is where I unwind and let down my tentacles. The warm gelatin is neuroengineered to stimulate the pleasure receptors beneath the surface of my skin. Ah, my arms, legs, and tentacles are now relaxed. Back to work. So many planets to buy, so little time.
Those were some interesting sounds.
I inherited this piece from my Grand Warden after he disintegrated. As a financial investment, it is the keystone in my collection of Sraffin pre-post moderns. But, frankly speaking, I think the artist may have taken a few too many jolts to the brain.
The majority of work needed to be done in this flashback is done right at this computer.
This console is the nerve center of my diversified operations. Communications, modeling and simulation, financial info harvesting, vast databases. All lines pass through this locus. I'd just as soon stop the beating of my own heart.
There is a bug on my version right now involving this computer screen, but I'll get there momentarily. We need to go through all of these screens. Well, not all of them. We don't have to worry about the audio or the robot butler service, but each screen provides us with information on how to complete this flashback. I've taken screenshots of pretty much every screen of importance, and I will provide the links to these screenshots in the description and in the thread. You may want to read through them if you want to understand how everything works, but if not, I will provide a summary of the more important things as I go along. Our aim in this flashback is to strike a deal with other people in order to buy Armpit 3. So I'm going to start with looking at deal summary. Right now, we do not know the current offer. Yeef has offered terms of 38 GZ, as well as the politicians have offered us a deal of 30. We need to deal with Urk 4, Quash 23, the politicians and the environmentalists, and also see if we can strike a deal with some other people along the way. Right now, we can't do anything here. Now, the buyers and biographies, we can actually look closely at all of these people, and by doing so we can get more of an idea of the type of people that we can try to deal with. Again, I've provided links to all of these descriptions in the description of this video and in the thread. So let's look closely at Pylon 3. Now, Pylon 3 is she's likely to bid on all living components of the planet's ecosystem, and her vast wealth makes it indifferent to the tactics of a negotiation team. So realistically, we don't really have much of a chance with Pylon 3, and she does not look like the type of person to indulge in some shady deals. But if we look closely at Dipik 10, he is the most detested of Sraffans. He specializes in turning uninhabitable asteroids into retirement communities, offers to skim all water and oxygen from Armpit 3, so he looks like he is interested in a deal. Oh, he wants exclusive rights for polluting and dumping. So this guy looks like the type of person to indulge in some shady deals. Now we need to sort of go through each person and see the type of people they are and what they are offering, but I will reserve that for reading away from this video, as we will be here for a while. The seller biographies, we have the lovely Urk 4, Yeef 8 and Quash 23. Now Urk 4 we have a meeting with soon. I forgot to check the logs before I entered the computer, but that's no worries. The biographies are in the links as well. The biographies of other parties. Swans of 5, politicians and environmentalists. Now these are people we want to get onto our side. And Swans of 5 has no idea of our plans for Armpit 3, thankfully. Now the staff biographies. These are our negotiation team. And we have descriptions of these people as well, but I'll give you a brief rundown as it is important. So Norg 72 is a poor negotiator and diplomat, but he can drive. Yeah, we need to read these biographies carefully as they have specific abilities and limitations. We also need to make a note of who can drive, because if we do not have a member who can drive in the team, then they have no way of getting there. Nerf 81 is knowledgeable about politics, economics and the environment, but she is still learning and must be teamed up with someone with more experience. She also can't drive. I'm giving you a summary because if I click on Nerg 72, there is a paragraph or two for each of these people. So I'm giving you the most relevant parts. Zig 64 has fairly good negotiation skills and has special knowledge of finance. She can also drive. Lentil 24 is our most capable employee. She has fairly good diplomatic skills, strong knowledge of finance and the environment. She likes to work independently and she can't be paired up with Norg. She can also drive as well. Vargas 20 has excellent diplomacy, special knowledge of politics and is good at making deals, but he can't drive and takes 25% longer than other people. Churg 53 has average negotiation skills, but he can't drive. The emails contain a bit of junk and a bit of useful information. There is some helpful advice, but the most useful piece of advice is with Swans of 5. But they are already on our radar. Household audio, we can just change the audio while we're here. It's nothing really that we haven't seen before. And we can order a snack or a beverage if we like. Ooh, centipede legs. Anyway, as I said, screenshots are in the description and threads. Let's move on. First, we need to dispatch a team or two. I'm going to send Lentil 24 to the environmentalists. Now, as you can see here, part of the screen is cut off. I'm not sure why, but this should not be the case. I believe this is meant to say included in team or included on team, and there should be a checkbox on here to say that you have actually selected them or not. So let's click on Lentil 24. It works if I click on this right hand side.
Yes, sir. Leaving now.
And I am going to send the rest of these people. Oops. Yeah. The hitboxes on these things are not exactly great.
Yes, boss, I'm on my way.
Right, now let's look at our map, which is just a map of Devon 7's home. And if we check out our log, this is our schedule for the day. Right now, Urk 4 is waiting upstairs for us. There is Urk 4. But before I speak to her, oh, that's just a small plant. This was what I was aiming for. As you can see, they look very similar.
The cornerstone of many a successful dinner party or business deal is the VMC 1000 Volt King. This can put an entire diplomatic delegation into the pool face down and still have enough juice on reserve to seed an electrical storm in the greenhouse.
Oh dear.
These doors lead to the space lock. As far as I know, there's no ship currently docked.
No ship is docked to the space lock. Egress cannot be permitted.
I picked up this little trifle at an auction while I was pleasuring on Ganta 9, 20 megazocs. At first, I didn't know what to do with it. The thing was 3 stories high. But I have this chap I use on Hippocratal who works with these things, and I had to miniaturize it so I could use it as a coat rack. Of course, the original was destroyed in the process, but I had no use for it anyway. Oh, I will strangle the servants for allowing my guests to see a cheap old lounge chair in my house that cost a mere 30 or 40 billion zocs.
Oh, is that all?
My pool was designed by Arvietta 9 back before he became such a hot commodity. I understand there is now a 45-year wait for an Arvietta design pool.
Well, that is a shame. We will go in the gelatin tub, but we won't go for a swim. Oh. I'm glad that suddenly sprang back.
This is the greatest known piece by the late Sraffin sculptor Garin Levin. If I recall, it is a statue of his Grand Warden, his left uncle, or his plumber.
It is not a good idea to kiss Urk 4, as she will be very offended for some reason.
Warmest greetings, Urk. Are you comfortable?
The temperature is 0.02 of a degree less than optimal, but I am getting by. Thank you for inquiring, Devon. Unlike other hyper-wealthy Sraffins, I pride myself on my lack of eccentricities and neuroses. I find them tedious. By the way, could you have your robo-butler repainted? I prefer to be waited on by a purple robo-butler.
Yeah, why not? It's only money.
Although you are not yet on the list of the 1,000 most wealthy Sraffins, I do believe you show promise, Devon 7.
Wait. What is the fascination with roughs?
I realize that his actions seem highly, eccentric, even for a Sraffin. Nevertheless, he is one of the co-owners of Armpit 3, and you will have to deal with him. Your inquiry did not contain any of my 3,817 favorite words, and I therefore choose to ignore it. A modest little pool. I presume your main pool is of a decent size.
How dare you?
A quaint piece of work, of terrestrial origin, I believe. Naturally, I recognize the work of Garin 11. I own 2 of his pieces myself, an exceptional artist by Srafen standards.
I've just noticed that the rest of the costume looks like something from 15th, 16th century. Definitely England. Ah yes, we're done with the ask about. So I was just fascinated by this costume.
Remember your status, Devon. Do not presume to order me around. I am a 4. You are a 7.
When was Shakespeare alive? Was that the 16th century?
Would you care to come downstairs? I could have my robo-servants prepare a light meal of Zekko meat and assorted fruits.
That would not be wise. I'm exactly at my favorite altitude for discussing terms.
I was surprised to hear that you would consider selling your interest in Armpit 3.
Oh, do not play naive with me, Devon 7. I know that your agents have informed you why I'm raising money. The proceeds from selling Armpit 3 will help me buy a 1/4-acre plot on Hypoctal that I've had my eye on for a while.
Speaking of terms, how much are you hoping to get for your share of Armpit 3?
My proposal contains one of my unlucky numbers, so I would prefer not to speak it aloud. Instead, I will download my proposal to your electronic mailbox. There. It is done.
Thank you. Now let's check on the status of our negotiators and check this email as well.
The environmentalists folded. They'll put up no resistance, provided we pay 2 gigazocs to shield the ozone layer from all the planetary harvesting and mining.
Okay. No.
The meeting with the politicians was semi-successful. They're willing to settle for a 15 gigazoc evacuation, provided we give them weapons testing rights.
Groovy. Right, now let's send Lentil 24 to Yeef 8.
Yes, sir. Leaving now.
And now we need to negotiate with Dork 44. And Dork 44 only deals with a team who is at least 50% female. So let's send Zig 64 and Churg 53.
Yes, boss, I'm on my way.
And let's send everyone else to Guild 13.
Yes, boss, I'm on my way.
And then check out this email. Right, the offer to Yeef 8 is on its way, and Quash 23, he is currently somewhere in his house. So let's go and deal with Quash 23 now.
I bought this piece in a small bazaar on Deneb 4. I was convinced I had stumbled across a copy of great worth, probably the work of one of the 21st century Earthmaster forgers, Sluggo Jenkins, Gus Tarkington, even Ernie Fast Car Monroe. You can't imagine my furor when I discovered several years later that the piece is actually the original Whistler, and therefore worth gigazox less than I had thought. I had been swindled. I moved the piece to this back hallway so that I would be less frequently reminded of my naivete. A cobweb? I will have every robo-servant reprogrammed post-haste.
Wow. That's quite harsh.
This is the door to the powder room and mud spa. It looks like Quash is still inside.
The powder room is currently occupied. The nearest unoccupied powder rooms are in guest quarters 15 and 24.
What do you want?
To get Quash 23 on our side, we need to be nice to him. For some reason, he's locked himself in this room.
Planetary scale deals put a lot of pressure on everyone. I'm surprised that more people don't lock themselves in bathrooms. I often feel inclined to do so myself.
You do?
I remember the first time I bought a planet. I was so nervous I couldn't stop eating glurgberries. I ate so many that I actually drove the price of glurgberries up by 7 millizots per unit.
Really? You don't think I'm just being neurotic?
No.
You have soothed me. I think you are someone I can do big business with. I am now downloading my terms to your mailbox. I hope you'll find them satisfactory.
Thank you very much. We are almost done. Let's check on our team again.
Good news, boss. Yeef came down by 5 gigazox.
I believe that we need to send Lentil 24 off one more time. And that is to Swanza 5.
Yes, sir. Leaving now.
There is only one more room that we can enter, and that is the bedroom. There are a few things that we can poke at, but there's only one real line of dialogue, and that is with the bed.
It's about time I throw this mattress away and buy a new one. I've had it almost 2 weeks. I also detect a 0.03% sag slope has developed.
You poor, poor man. Alright, let's get back to the computer. Oh, wait a minute, there is an alcove here, but again, there isn't much to see here.
The meeting went well, boss. We talked them up. The meeting went well, boss. We talked them up.
Now let's wait on Lentil 24.
Great news, boss. Swanza 5 has committed 20 gigazocs if we let him build his university on Armpit 3. Naturally, we kept him in the dark about the other impending uses of the planet.
Good job, Lentil 24. So, the current offer is 107 Zots. And right now, Swanza 5 has given us an offer of 20. So let's get some more people on board. When we go to the biographies, when we go to the bids and biographies, we need to select some investors. So to pick 10 is a good option. Vebel 18, Guild 13, Dork 44, Rowley 23, and Jella 37. And I believe we need to get the Mineral Marts RG on our side as well. And that should be enough. 107, 107. Oh yes, we need to select a code name. Let's do Fuzzy Pajamas. Now here is where things are bugged, because as you can see, when I chat to Devon7, he just sits here. So with the power of editing, I will cut to how it should go.
Well, that's all very interesting. I think I need a drink now. What do you like to bet on?
Anything and everything. The only trouble is most wagers are just so drearily predictable.
I like a good bet myself. Maybe you and I could...
What an absurd concept. What wager could you possibly propose that would interest me?
I'll bet I can guess how much your latest planet cost you.
Oh, please. That amount is already recorded in the log of the Association of Planetary Realtors. You'll have to do better than that.
Okay, then I'll bet that I can guess your private code name for your deal.
You almost begin to amuse me, Alias Node. I will make that wager. Ah, Alias Node, have you guessed the private code for my Armpit 3 deal?
Oh yes.
I think I have, Devon7. Is this it?
Fuzzy Pajamas.
That is correct. I will obviously have to tighten security throughout my organization. In the meantime, there's the matter of your payoff. Your feat was so impressive that I must not allow you to settle for anything less than this rare and important high-frequency jammer. Don't tell anyone I let you have it.
Deal. We cannot complete the game without this high-frequency jammer.
Aside from this tiny dial, looks just like your average tie clip. Wait a minute. I think there's something engraved on the back.
Now, I believe that I finished the Devon7 flashback around the 21:52 mark. So that means I need to replay this save file and complete the antidote, click, snap, snap, rattles flashback, bet takers flashback, and also switch off the frequency jammer as well, and then get back to where I was. I mentioned before that the continuity will be slightly askew because some of the randomized numbers in the flashbacks will be different. But if it means that I can complete the game, then I'm not going to worry about that. Anyway, when I return, we will be back somewhere around this area.